Hi, my name is Claire, and I'm taking this class on Eric Fromm and reading his book, Man for Himself. But this week we kind of came at it in a different direction, and we watched a TED video by Chimamanda Adichie. And she was talking about the danger of single stories and how people can have people create single stories about themselves, about other people, about the way the world works, and how it's not that it's wrong, but it's that it's incomplete. So I wanted to start off today with a quote by Albert Einstein. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. And I think this is important because, yes, it's true that the fish can't climb a tree, but it can do a whole lot of other things as well, and how you can kind of get a single story about another person that way. You can't really expect a person to be something that they're not. And I think that's something that we see a lot these days. People expect things out of other people that they just can't give. And I think that's happening a lot right now it's also happening a lot with jobs. You can get a single story about about what job you want to go into. It might be that doctors and lawyers are the only good professions, and that's your single story. And it's true that they're good professions and there's nothing wrong with them. But as Albert Einstein says, if there's somebody who just doesn't want to be a lawyer or a doctor, if you judge them by their ability to be a lawyer or a doctor, they'll spend their whole life thinking that something is wrong with them, that they're not smart enough, that they're not right, that they're not a good person. And that can be very dangerous to somebody. And it can really affect their lives and where they want to go and what school they go to and how they live and how they relate to other people. And since we're talking about relationships in this Fromm class, it's really important that you study how that can affect your relationship, because if you don't believe that you're worthy, or you feel that you're stupid, or you feel like you're not good enough with your job, there's a chance that you might not feel that way when you're relating to other people. And that's a very dangerous mindset to get in. And that is also a single story mindset, because you've come to believe maybe what the society, your family, or somebody else has told you, and that's the only way to live. And you don't necessarily realize that there are other ways that you can come at the situation. And despite that, you know that there are good things that you can go into, but it's not complete because you know that there are other things that you would rather be doing. And that can really affect where you're going and how you relate to other people. And if you get a single story about a certain type of person or another person, like if you say you go into something else and you look at doctors and lawyers as they're the only people who are right, or if you hear that somebody is a doctor or a lawyer, you can think, oh, and put a label on them, and that's all they are, and that's their single story, and that encompasses all that they are. That can be just as damaging, just as bad as what you had gone through before. And though they are that, and that's what they do, there can be so much more to them. And if you get a single story, you might not let yourself explore that and see how amazing that can be, and really relate to another person and see who they are. And that can be very detrimental to your relationships and how you deal with other people, including your family and your friends and the entire world. And I think that's really important, because I see that a lot. Especially, we see that in high school. People are constantly inventing single stories about themselves. And some of them are good and some of them aren't. You hear about the girls who think themselves that they're not thin enough, and that becomes their story. That becomes who they are as a person. Or say somebody who believes that they're just the jock, and that becomes who they are as a person, and and they believe that that encompasses all that they are. And I think that's a very dangerous thing to get into, because you don't realize your full potentiality. And that's a lot of what we're talking about in film class, is reaching our full potential. So thank you for listening.